In conversation now on this Azadi special is the one and only Mr. Shankar Mahadevan. Shankar sir, vanakkam, namaskaram. As always, fantastic to speak with you.
Vanakkam, sir.
So let me start with the first question, Shankar sir. 75 years of our independence. What does the tricolor mean to you?
I mean, the tricolor, I think, is a representation of what our country is. As everybody knows, it's about the orange is about the culture and the heritage and what the different art forms that we have, the spirituality that this country has got. The white is about peace, and it's about truth, and green is about fertility and the amount of natural greenery that we have in our country. And of course the Dharma Chakra, the Ashoka Chakra is represents progress, and you can see it happening in our country, and you can see India is shining. I'll tell you something. This year is really special for me because I'm going to be hoisting. I'm the what do you call it? The guest of honor. I mean, I'm privileged to be the guest of honor to hoist our Indian flag at Times Square, New York.
Wow! Fantastic.
So for me, every time, whether it's a achievement in sports, some of our great sportsmen, they do Olympics, some of those world events, whenever our achievers they go, or whether it's in music or when some of our musicians they do well, and you see that tricolor, just fluttering over there. It really sends that kind of patriotism. Love for it's just warmth and love for the country. I'll sing you a few lines of a song which we composed in Raves, and it's called Bharat, which is written by the great Prasan Joshi. And the simple thing about is देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए. देश से है प्यार तो हर पल ये कहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए. सिलसिला ये बाद मेरे यूं ही चलना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए. मेरी नस नस तार कर दो और बना दो एक सितार, राग भारत मुझ पे छेड़ो, झंझनाओ बार बार. देश से ये प्रेम आंखों में छलकना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए. A warning for the enemies.
क्या बात.
शत्रु से कह दो जरा, सीमा में रहना सीख ले.
क्या बात.
ये मेरा भारत अमर है, सत्य कहना सीख ले. भक्ति की इस शक्ति को बढ़कर दिखाना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये कहना चाहिए. My promise. मुझे सौगंध भारत, भूलू ना एक क्षण तुझे, की हर बूंद तेरी है, तेरा अर्पण तुझे. युद्ध ये सम्मान का मान रहना चाहिए, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए।
क्या वाह, मैं रहूं या ना रहूं, भारत ये रहना चाहिए।
जलते शरारे हैं, पानी के धारे हैं, हम काटे कटते नहीं। जो वादा करते हैं करके निभाते हैं, हम पीछे हटते नहीं। वक्त है, उम्र है, जोश है और जान है, ना झुके ना मिटे, देश तो अपनी शान है। हमने कहा है जो तुम भी कहो। सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो, चाहे जितना जोर लगा, सबसे आगे होंगे हिंदुस्तानी, 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 हिंदुस्तानी। भारत माँ की जय।
Happy Independence Day, and we look forward to you unfurling and hoisting the flag at Times Square.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bharat Mata ki jai.
The Azadi conversation, 75 years of our independence, and of course the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. But more importantly, Har Ghar Tiranga. Does that mean just holding and putting the flag in your house, or is it bringing the country into you and making it a part of you and making it a part of our being? Perhaps the best symbol to instill nationhood. Let's ask the man who's not just steeped in culture, but he's writing a lot about it. And he's, of course, a champion of India's civilizational ethos on foreign soil, the one and only Amish Tripathi. Amish ji, namaste.
Thanks, Anand. Pleasure being here as always.
What does the tricolor mean and this concept of nationhood? How important is the tricolor as a symbol, perhaps, to instill the spirit of nationhood?
You know, Anand, the symbols are what we infuse into it, right? The tricolor is not an ancient symbol, obviously. Our ancient symbol was the Bhagwa flag. But the belief in our way is what you infuse into a symbol actually ends up making it mean a lot more. Our ancestors used to tell us that the Jagruti in a Tirthsthal, in a pilgrimage spot, is not just the natural Jagruti of its place, it's also the devotion that devotees over hundreds and thousands of years go and infuse into that place. It's the same thing with the tricolor. The flag was adopted by our country as we gained independence. It is a symbol of our nationhood, and it is 1.4 billion people who, with their love and devotion, have infused that power.
But 75 years, quite a lot of it that you have seen through as a youngster, as a student, as an employee or somebody who was in the private arena, then moving into writing and then into a space where you are championing the cause for the country. How have you seen Bharat evolve?
75 years is a wonderful place for us, a wonderful time for us to sit and review. What have we achieved in the last 75 years? This year, I'm sitting in the UK. This year, India's GDP will go ahead of the GDP of the UK, our former colonial master. The last time this happened was approximately 150 years ago, right? And our economic growth actually began with the economic reforms of 1991. So what we lost over 150 years, we've recovered in just 30 years. And most estimates will tell you that next 20-25 years, purchasing power parity basis, our per capita income, that is each Indian individual's income, will be higher than the per capita income of practically all countries in Europe. The last time this happened was 900 years ago, right? So what we lost over 900 years, we will make up in the next 25.
What are for you? I know we have got many as a country to celebrate over 75 years. What are for you the 3 or 4 Tiranga moments?
The fact that among the former colonized countries, we're the only ones which have remained a democracy over the last, among the few, is a Tiranga moment. The fact that we've had so much social change over the last 70 years, if you think about it, so many backward caste Hindus, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes have become a part, got in, are of the mainstream. They're ruling the election of our president. These are Tiranga moments because inclusion of formerly oppressed people in many other countries has been accompanied with a lot of violence. In India, it happened with almost minimal violence.
The Har Ghar Tiranga, the fact that the Prime Minister said that let's try and put out the flag in every house. They've changed the flag code. They've changed what can be made of the flag being made out of to facilitate this can happen. But there are those who are skeptics who would say, I have patriotism in my heart. Why do I need to put the flag? Why do I need to keep the flag in my house? There are others who would say, why only 15th of August and 26th of January? Why not right through the year, the flag be there all around you to remind you constantly that your first dharma is towards your Rashtra. That means your nation comes first. Where do you stand?
We need our state to be strong. And how will our state be strong? When all of us believe in our nation. A nation is essentially, as was very rightly put, I think it was by Milan Kundera, it's an imagined community. It's a community because all of us believe it's a community. And we will believe it's a community when there are symbols that are important for us. Okay, you have every right to dislike your government. Correct. But if you start disliking and hating your own nation, if you start destroying your own nation, it's like you making a hole in the ship you're traveling on. Look, correct. You will sink with the ship, right?
Very well said. Very well said, Amish Tripathi. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
Jai Hind, Bharat Mata ki jai.
Jai Hind, Bharat Mata ki jai. Happy Independence Day.
Namaste. Happy Independence Day.
Psycho Mirabai Chanu, so proud of you. आप जब जाते हैं कोई ना कोई नया रिकॉर्ड करके आते हैं और आपसे अब ऐसा हो गया कि मीराबाई है तो फिर पक्का मेडल है. बट कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स में हैट्रिक हो गया और आपने नया रिकॉर्ड भी किया. जो सिल्वर मेडलिस्ट थी उससे कम 30 किलो ज्यादा आपका लिफ्ट था. कैसा लग रहा है?
मैं बहुत खुश हूँ ये कंपटीशन और मैंने जो किया है मेरा परफॉर्मेंस इसमें मुझे बहुत खुशी हूँ. और सबसे पहला ही इंडिया के लिए मैंने फिर से गोल्ड मेडल मैंने दे पाई हूँ. ये मेरे लिए बहुत ही बड़ी बात है और मैं बहुत खुशी हूँ इस कंपटीशन और इस परफॉर्मेंस में. तो सर भी बहुत खुशी है कि हम टोक्यो से वापस उधर फिर सिल्वर मेडल दिया और इधर इसके बाद ही मेरा बड़ा कंपटीशन थी. तो सबसे पहला दिन ही मैंने गोल्ड मेडल दिया. तो ये मुझे बहुत ज्यादा खुशी है.
Many people said there is no competition for you. You also said you are competing with yourself. आप अपने साथ ही compete कर रहे हैं.
जी.
So, but what motivates you? Tell me.
हाँ, ये कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स मेरे लिए इजी है. सबको पता है, सर ने भी पहले भी ही बोला है कि ये कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स आपके लिए इजी है, पर आपके अंदर ही मतलब खुद को ही फाइट करना है. आप जो भी किया है बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस देने का तैयारी करना है कि ताकि हम आगे के लिए हम प्लान कर सके और परफॉर्मेंस इम्प्रूव करने के लिए. तो मैं खुद के ऊपर मैं बोलती रहती हूँ कि ये कॉम्पिटिशन मेरे खुद के ऊपर ही फाइट करना है आपको.
आपने जो पहला ट्वीट किया उसमें आपका फैमिली और आपके फ्रेंड्स आपके गांव में झंडा लेके डांस कर रहे हैं. ये बहुत स्पेशल है.
हाँ
जरा
जी,
बताइए इसके बारे में.
जो फ्लैग पकड़ के जो सबसे पहला मैं डांस किया है, जो सामने सबसे पहले आगे है वो मेरा मॉम है, मेरा मम्मी है. वो मैं भी पता नहीं था, उन्होंने वीडियो भेजा मुझे. मैं कॉम्पिटिशन खत्म होते ही मैंने मम्मी को कॉल किया पर उठाया नहीं था मम्मी, पर उन लोग तो इतना एंजॉय कर रहे थे. बाद में मुझे वीडियो भेजा तो देखा अच्छा मैं आने से पहले उन्होंने तो इतना एंजॉय कर लिया. तो मुझे भी बहुत ही खुशी हुआ उन सबको देख के. उन्होंने बहुत ही प्यार दिया मेरे लिए, बहुत प्रे किए उन्होंने. तो हम इंडिया के लिए मेडल आए.
जब आप मेडल पोडियम पे खड़ी रहती हैं और वो फ्लैग ऊपर जाता है और नेशनल एंथम, क्या फीलिंग होता है?
इस बार मुझे बहुत इमोशनल हुई थी कि इस बार कंपटीशन में इतना ऑडियंस आए थे कि इंडियंस बहुत ही ज्यादा क्राउड हुआ था. पहली बार हुआ है मेरे कि जब मेरा कंपटीशन में शेरफ मिले हैं, बहुत ही ज्यादा सपोर्ट मिले हैं. जब मैंने मेडल के लिए पोडियम में खड़े थे तो हमारी फ्लैग जो है वो ऊपर जा रही थी. तो हम नेशनल एंथम जो है हम जोर जोर से गा रहे थे. तो वो मुझे बहुत इमोशनल भी हुआ और बहुत ही अच्छा लगा कि बहुत सारे इंडियन फ्रेंड्स मुझे मिलने आई, मेरे लिए देखने आई, मेरे लिए प्रे किया है। तो ये हर प्लेयर्स के लिए तो बहुत ही बड़ा मोमेंट होता है। तो
So proud of you. Thank you so much
थैंक
for
यू,
speaking with
थैंक
us, and
यू,
I wish you all the very best. आपकी
थैंक
नेक्स्ट
यू सो।
ओलंपिक्स की तैयारी, पेरिस की
जी
तैयारी सॉलिड लग रही है.
हाँ जी बिल्कुल एकदम।
Thank you so much. Proud of you.
थैंक यू
Thank you.
सो मच।
So joining us now is Satyan Gyanasekaran, bronze medalist at Birmingham 2022. Satyan, congratulations. ரொம்ப நல்லா ஆடினீங்க, but tell me, how was your experience?
Fantastic games, I should be saying. 3 medals again, Commonwealth Games. It's a great outing, and icing on the cake is that elusive singles medal, which I was like dreaming to have won. That was my primary goal, and achieving that in a dramatic, epic bronze medal clash. I think I think I finished the games on a pretty high note.
Were you expecting? Were you hoping that you would do better, or are you happy with your performance? Be very honest.
Well, I mean, certainly, whatever you do, I'm always, greedy, and I always want to do one better, which I'm performing. Of course, defending the men team gold, I think, was very sweet. Being under pressure and delivering under pressure, I think that we started on a very high note. And of course, men's doubles finals was a fantastic close match as well. But I think we played our best. We played very high quality table tennis here, showing that Indians are in that level now. And of course, I lost to a better player on that day in Pitchford semifinals. And yes, I think I played my best table tennis here, and definitely can always improve and try to change the color of the medal next time.
Yes, I'm sure you will. But tell me, how has Indian table tennis grown? And somebody who's like a veteran there, who's a constant, he's also ended up with the gold in Sharad Kamal. But how was it playing with him and working as a team with him?
Oh, amazing. I think, he never feels like 40, both on and off the table. I mean, when he's talking with you or talking with us, we always feel like he's almost same age as us. He gives you that space. You can go out and talk to him or whatever you feel like. And, he's such a down-to-earth person and amazing. The way he played when he stepped onto the court, I think we knew from ball one, no one in Birmingham had any chance against him the way he was playing. An amazing performance. I think when he's in the team, it takes off the pressure of the team. When you have such an experienced player playing, Commonwealth games, he takes off the pressure. He creates a very nice environment in the team.
You had a conversation with the Prime Minister before you guys started. What did the PM ask of you, and have you delivered there?
Yes, I think the way government has been supporting us, is amazing. It feels like a family. Every medal we win, there is a tweet. When the Prime Minister himself tweets, you feel very special. Like the whole country is cheering for you. The response we have got from the government, from the Indian fans, has been overwhelming. I've never felt this kind of excitement, playing a games. And I think he'll be meeting us soon as well. So, to have that kind of Prime Minister who's more like a sports lover himself, that gives us immense pleasure and honor to be playing for India.
No, and after all the troubles and strife, we talked about the challenges you yourself has faced personally. Do you feel this is gratifying? You feel, all that going through all that trouble, going through all those heartaches. Finally, when you get the medal in your hand and you're standing there on the podium, do you get the feeling that, well, it was all worth it, and you want to dedicate it to somebody?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we played around 21 matches, grueling schedule in 11 days. It was just, couple of days we couldn't even have lunch. I was there in the stadium right through 14 hours at a stretch in the stadium, playing 6 matches a day. And, it was a lot of hard work. I think a lot of sacrifices from the family, who sacrificed, their time for me. And of course, I miss my dad a lot. And I think that I've never cried on the court. That was the first time ever tears came out of my court. And I didn't know. I mean, I just let go of myself on that day. And I would dedicate it to my father, who's no more with us. And of course, my mother, who's been the pillar of support, despite not having that, she was there all the time supporting me.
Fantastic work. Lovely speaking with you. All the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Continuing our Azadi conversations, we are joined by
the former Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry and also former IPS officer, very celebrated and somebody who's very, very strongly has very strong opinions on what our role as an individual is for our country, our dharma is for our country. Kiran Bedi ji. Kiran ji, namaste. Thank you very, very much. Happy Independence Day. And we had a bit of a conversation on an all-women's panel that we are there, and we're taking that Azadi conversation forward here. So let me first ask you some questions which we missed that day and some things which I wanted you to share with our viewers here. So we're taking that conversation on a one-on-one basis. What does the tricolor mean to you? And what should it mean to every Indian?
You know, for me, the tricolor is the most sacred thing. It's my honor. It's my prestige. It's my value system. It's my sense of security. It's my pride. I believe the national flag is the biggest asset of any nation. And that's why it's always held high. It's always held high. And the greatest honor is when you dip it. So I think that's what it means to me, is the most sacred thing. It's the most sacred thing a nation can possess.
There is a difference in how your generation or perhaps the generation that came through post-Azadi in the first 2-3 decades of strife, and now this generation that is largely the millennials, 90s onwards. Is there a difference in the way we perceive the tricolor to them? And what should the tricolor mean for the generation that is going to take India into the next 25 years, that is still when we turn 100?
During my generation, we were seeing, feeling, and living. And we were closer to the movement. We were closer to the stories of freedom fighters. We were closer to stories of the people who had sacrificed their lives for the nation. Those unsung heroes we're talking about today, we're discovering them daily. I noticed that unsung heroes are being discovered every day. The All India Radio, the Doordarshan, and the televisions are discovering them. We lived them. We saw them. We heard many of them. So the freedom fighters. So we were so close. We were rubbing shoulders with freedom fighters. So we were living the flag. We were fluttering it, singing every day. The nation is that the following generations have drifted further away. Now the question is, we had a hiatus, we had a gap. If that kind of continuity had been remained, there would have been a similar sentiment, the anger we have, or the emotional connect we have to the flag. And you see, that's why you wanted to bring national anthem in the cinema halls. Why? Because people had forgotten, particularly in the non-Hindi speaking states, it was Hindi national anthem, and they didn't know. And they had to fumble or they had to mumble, because I saw it. Not that they were less patriotic, but they did not know it. They were not being taught enough, or they were not singing enough. So assemblies did not sing, and they did not hear. So with the result that they drifted away. We may have to revive this. School assemblies and universities can start with the national anthem, can start with the Vande Mataram. It can start with the Vande Mataram. After, when we're calling it the motherland, why should we not sing Vande Mataram? Why should we question it? I oversee somebody asked me a question, what can I do for my motherland? I said, do you ask yourself what can you do for your mother? If you say my motherland, then do you ask yourself, what can I do for my mother? Your motherland. That's a mother biological, and this is your mother, the birthplace of your birth. So I think this is it. It's not their fault. I think the fault is of the elders. We did not sow the seeds. So we are trying to sow the seeds through new education policy now. But you see, some generations have already slipped.
2-3 moments where you felt that this was perhaps a tricolor moment, like is for a Bharat movement.
Anand, I have an unforgettable moment. Many years ago, 2 students who were documentary makers came and said, ma'am, will you do a little clip for us? I said, what is it? He said, it's a true story. So you're not acting. You're just enacting the true story. I said, what is that true story? He said, there was a rag puller, a woman, rag picker. She found the Tiranga in a dustbin, in a garbage bin. She found it. She picked it up. And when she picked it up, she found it was torn in some places. She sat down on the side of the road, put out from her old sari, took out a piece. She darned that piece of cloth. She darned that flag and she put it on her shoulder. And then she started to walk. And when she started to walk, she came across some flag flying somewhere on the pole. She pulled that flag down and she hoisted this flag. Can you believe it? I acted it. I reenacted it. It's a true story. Imagine this. Look at the patriotic love this woman had, stitching it with her own, and she had all kinds. So, by the way, this is in a film. It's a real film called The Real Salute.
Final question, ma'am. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that this is our Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav because we are entering our Amrit Kal. So the next 25 years, from 75 to 100, 2022 to 2047, are going to be the period of glory for us. So I want to ask you, is there a message that you would like to give to our viewers as we continue to talk the way forward and we celebrate 75 years?
Anand, we are a demographic dividend. The median age of Indian youth is only 28 years. And you know, Japan is 49 years. And Europe, etc., and USA is almost 43. And China, etc., is probably 37. So we are at median age of 28, 20 to be exact. I think it's India is a reservoir of youth energy. If we can channelize this energy, the next century belongs to us. But if we leave it frustrated, unskilled, unemployed, uneducated, not respecting the law, not knowing its history, away from its roots, no gratitude, then we are in for serious trouble. I think we have a big challenge before the political leadership of this country, the bureaucracy of this country, the parents of this country, the teachers of this country, community leaders of this country, whichever faith they may belong to. If we want to create this demographic dividend into a demographic dividend and not demographic challenge. So I think if we lead, but it is not only education, it's the manner of education, the way we impart the value systems. And I trust that national education policy, but remember, there'll be you'll start seeing the results 5, 10, but if it's implemented well. Now the question is not of policies only, it's about implementation of the policies, not about reform, but as Amitabh said, re-reform.
Yeah.
It's an area of re-reform.
Thank you so much. Wonderful speaking with you. Happy Independence Day. Namaste.
Happy Independence Day and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, ma'am. Thank you.
Jai Hind.